polygonal models and you want to texture all those. So today we'll start with the polygonal texturing. Okay, can you remember uh, when we discussed about the difference between NURBS and polygon? We discussed that the NURBS UVs editing is not necessary, but for the polygon we need to edit the UVs. Can you remember that, all of you? Can you remember? Yes or no? Just write it down. Hmm. So you can remember. So till today, whatever we have textured, those were all nerve surfaces. Yes, nerve surfaces. Okay, that is the reason UV editing was not necessary for a nerve surface. Okay, now it is very simple basically. If you analyze two surfaces, nerves and polygon, very easily you will understand it. Uh, let's say you are creating something out of nerves. So, for example, the staircase we created and the handle, the railing we created out of a nerve cylinder, right? So, how we did that? First, we increased the subdivision, height subdivision of that cylinder. Then, by using the hull, we scaled the hull and created that object, isn't it? So, what's happening basically? The object means the cylindrical object remaining the same, and when you are editing the components of it, automatically the UVs are intact. Okay, the UVs are intact in the sense we are not increasing the patches of that particular cylinder. Means the UV patches at the beginning, whatever we took, it is remaining the same. Only we are changing the placement of it. But in the case of polygon, what will happen? While doing the extrusion, we are increasing the polygon. Today I will show you. Okay, while extruding, we are increasing the polygon. So what will happen in that case? The UVs remain the same, but the model is something else, and there is the mismatch. Okay, and we need to match the UVs with our model. Fine. So arranging the UVs properly is called UV unwrapping. I'm giving one example. Suppose you are having a toffee, okay, a chocolate toffee, and the wrapper is not properly wrapped. Okay, and you want to wrap it properly. What you will do? First, you will remove the wrapper, isn't it? You will remove the wrapper. You will stretch it properly. Will make a square shape, and then keep the chocolate inside, and then we'll wrap it properly. And then both the sides you will twist it, isn't it? So this will be the way of working. So what you did? First, you unfolded it. You unwrapped it first, right? Now, second thing, what you did? Again, you kept that chocolate and wrapped it properly, folded it properly, right? So this is called UV unwrapping. The entire process is called UV unwrapping. So what's happening over here in our case? The chocolate is the model. Okay, and what is the wrapper? The UVs. UVs are the wrapper. UVs are the wrapper. So we are doing, the chocolate means the object keeping inside the UVs and then wrapping it properly. So this process is called UV unwrapping. Now tell me how many of you understood this and how many didn't understand. Just write down quickly. If necessary, I'll explain once again. Quickly write it down. How many of you understood this? Okay. Yes, Nitai. The example, once again, I am explaining. Suppose there is a chocolate, toffee, okay, and it is not properly wrapped. Means from somewhere the chocolate is visible, it is not properly wrapped. It is crumpled. Okay. So what you will do if you want to wrap it properly? First, you open that wrapper and we'll stretch it. We'll make a rectangular shape first, and then we'll keep the chocolate inside, and then we'll make a cylindrical shape. We'll wrap it properly with that wrapper, and then both the sides you will twist it. You will do it or not? All of you understood what I'm saying? Hmm. So yes. So in our case, in polygonal modeling, just imagine our model is that chocolate, inside chocolate, and UVs are that wrapper. Okay. So in knobs, the UVs are connected with the vertices. So if you are dragging one vertices, some vertices, then you are dragging also the UVs. But in polygonal models, it will not happen the same because the wrapper and the chocolate is different, separate. So you are modifying the chocolate, wrapper will be the same. You are modifying the wrapper, the chocolate will be the same. It's like that. So in this case, the model is the chocolate and the UVs are the wrapper. Most of the cases, the UVs are incorrect or crumpled. So what we have to do, we need to stretch it properly. We need to make it very clean, and then we'll keep our model and we'll wrap it. And this process is called UV unwrapping. Now, is it clear? All of you? Okay. Still, I feel confusion is there. See, I don't mind if confusion is there, but you have to say that. No, still not clear. You have to say that. Okay? Don't just be silent. Act. If you didn't understand, no, sir, didn't understand. If you understood, yes, sir, we understood. Okay. So now, let's go to Maya and we'll see practically how it is happening. Okay, what I'm saying basically. So let's go to Maya. Today's lecture is very, 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 very important. This is the base of the UV unwrapping. If today you understood, then for the lifetime there will be no problem. If today you are not understanding, then for the lifetime there will be a problem. And I can see only 20 students, 19 students are present, and I don't know the rest. I guess approximately 30, 32 students. How they will manage? Okay, most of the days it's happening like that. Anyway, let's go to Maya. And before doing anything, previously I showed you during polygonal modeling, and once again I'll show you. Suppose I'm creating a polygonal primitive. Okay, going to UV and UV editor. UV editor. In my 2019, the UV toolkit will come in this side. Okay, UV toolkit. Let me check if no. Sorry, in 17 it's not there. Anyway, so this is the model and this is the UV editor. So this is the UV of this particular model. So I just have clicked over here. So shaded UV display. Okay, shaded UV display. This one. So whatever you will select, you can see the unwrapped version of it. So if I cut all the edges, if I cut all the edges and want to see how it is going to look, we'll get something like this. Okay. So for a cube, this is all right. This is good. And here, if you click it on display checkered tiles, then you can see the checker boxes on the model, and everything is looking very clean. this is this is all right because this is a primitive, so it is looking all right. But similarly, I'm taking a sphere. You can see this is not looking all right. This is not looking all right, right? Actually, we cannot help it. We actually cannot help it because this kind of spherical object and some organic, for some organic objects, uh, you cannot get this kind of UV tiles. Okay, the linear objects you can get this, but most of the organic shapes, a little bit distortion will be there. Okay, and we need to compromise in that, and that's fine. There is no problem. Okay, so now let's concentrate on this and try to understand what's happening. So just see what's happening. I'm selecting this face and let's extrude it. You also check over here what's happening. I'm extruding it. Can you see the model has been changed, but the UVs are remaining the same? There the problem is. Okay, now let's click it on. This is looking fine, this is looking fine, but in between there is a stretch mark. And this is problematic in polygonal model. In NURBS model, it will not happen like that because we are not increasing the polygon. So previously, at the very beginning, we had 6 faces, 6 polygons. Now we are having 10 faces. So 4 polygons are extra. We have created these 4 faces. And there the problem is. Okay. So now UVs cannot be like this. And why it is happening? Let's see why it is happening. Right click, go to the UV, and let's go to, okay, see, I have selected this one over here, and let's check what's happening. See, double. Double. Are you getting it? So this particular face is this one. This particular face is this one, this particular face is this one, and this particular face is this one. Okay, I was talking about crumpled chocolate wrapper. So this is what I was talking about. If the UVs are not correct, it is going to look like this. Okay, so just selecting all the UVs and let's unfold it. Unfold means what I told, like you are unfolding, you are unwrapping the wrapper. So it's the same thing. Here we are having unfold option. Okay, polygons, unfold. So let's use legacy. Legacy means previously we used to do that one, legacy. Okay, apply and close. Now you can see it is at least looking square in shape. Okay, all right. It's looking something like this. This is almost fine, but not like this. Can you see the scaling change? Here the scaling is more, here the scaling is less, and all these areas are still stretched. So the entire UV arrangement is wrong in this case. So we have to deal with this particular object differently. Okay. So all of you understood the problem, why it is necessary. I am just trying to say you why it is necessary. All of you understood this, why it is necessary, and where is the error. You found out the error. Yes, unwanted distortion. Yes, unwanted distortion. So, uh, very happy this distortion term came from your side. I supposed to discuss on that. So, distortion. Yes, we don't want any unwanted distortion. So here we are getting the distortion. Okay, so we need to eliminate this. Now, how to deal with this? Okay, what can be the UV arrangement of this? So you need to visualize something. Suppose this is a box. If I cut the edges, all the edges, then how this box is will look like? Okay, so what I'm doing, I'm going to UV, and we are having. Let us check if we are having. I'm searching if the previous version they already gave it. Anyway, let's go to UV, and we are having a few mapping. Okay, so here it is. In the newer version, this create, modify, edit, all these options you will get inside the UV toolkit. Okay, so if I change, let us check UV editing. Okay, so you can see the UV editor is open over here. In that case, in a newer version, what will happen? The UV toolkit will open. In my 2019, if you check, the UV toolkit will open when you will go to the UV editing mode. Anyway, so what I was talking, just try to understand this mapping. Okay, I'll talk about this mapping. Okay, I'll talk about four mapping. So first of all, this is a very simplified object. So when you are having a very simplified object, we should do automatic mapping. Remember this. When you are having a very simplified object, very less number of polygons, you should do automatic mapping. So going to UV and automatic, right? Can you see all the checker boxes came correctly? And this is fine. This is looking good. But over here, you can see I'm just right clicking and shell. Shell means one part of the UVs. Okay, just click it off. One part of the UVs. It can contain multiple faces. These are all different UV shells. All different UV shells. Okay. Now, what my job will be? Let's see it. I'm selecting these two edges, and here it is showing this and this. These four faces are containing faces of these two edges. Okay, I want to connect it. So going to polygon, and we are having move and save. I need to find out where they have kept. Yes, move and save UV edges. Okay, so just clicking on it, and you can see both are attached. Okay, now selecting these two, and you can see this can be connected. Polygon, move and see UV edges, and selecting these two, you can see this can be connected, and move and save. Okay, now this cannot be connected. What will happen? Overlapping, right? So we don't want any overlapping. So now let's check. See, seamlessly it is connected. Seamlessly. Okay, this is the first thing. Now these two sides are remaining. This one and this one. These two sides are remaining. So what can be done? Selecting this one, and once again move and save, and selecting this edge, and once again move and save. So now it has been converted into one UV shell. So this should be the UV alignment of this particular object. Now selected everything and click over here. So this is basically arrangement of the layout. Okay. Uh, in my 2019, this tool is called layout. So right hand side at the bottom, you will get this layout. It will be written layout. Okay. Over here, this is the shortcut in 2017. So if we have modeled this, the UVs should look this, like this. Now let's check. Everything is looking perfect and proper. There is no problem. Everywhere it is looking perfect. Okay. So this is called UV unwrapping. UV unwrapping. So first what I did through a mapping, through automatic mapping, I just opened everything through automatic mapping. And then I need to wrap it once again. So what I did, I saved it by using move and save option. Okay, so just tell me if you understood it or not, all of you.
सर
Yes, Sagar.
सर आपने मतलब मूव एंड व्यू करने के लिए मतलब एजेस सिलेक्ट किया कि शेल
Edges,
सिलेक्ट किया था?
edges,
एंड सर
edges. You
शेल
need
का
to
आप
select
बता
edges.
सकते?
Hmm?
ओके सर, शेल का आप
Hmm.
बता सकते हैं सर, शेल्स क्या था?
Yes, yes. See, now it is having multiple faces, no? So now this is also called one shell. This is one shell now. Previously, I had multiple shells. Okay, now this will be one shell. This is called one shell, and we can cut the UVs also. UVs also. So selecting these two edges and cut UV edge over here only it is cut UV edge. Then what will happen? So this is a different shell. This is a different shell. Then I realized no, I need to connect it. So selecting these edges, you can see containing faces over here. It will become orange in color. Polygons. and move and see. Understood
मतलब
now?
एजेस मीन्स कोई भी सिलेक्ट करने एक फेस के मतलब फोर साइड्स है ना एजेस.
No, 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 no. Not anyone, but the logical one. In this case, you can select anyone. Like anyone will work in this case. Okay. So instead of uh, keeping it over here, you can keep it over here. You can keep it over here. I'll just show you. I'm just cutting these two. Okay. And you can see this is a different shell. And what I am planning, let's connect it over here. So I don't want any seam in this. Previously, I removed seam from here. Connecting means there is no seam. Or suppose from here, here and here, I want to connect both the sides. So selected these two, you can see. Now these are selected. Move and see. This is also correct. In this case, this is also correct. But for every case, this will not be the case. Means one perfect, one proper edge you need to select, a logical edge you need to select, and then only you can do move and save.
ओके
Tell
सर.
me, now it is becoming clear?
यस सर. एंड सर मतलब यूवी एडिटर में सिलेक्ट करने से अच्छा मतलब व्यू कोड में सिलेक्ट करेंगे तो बेटर
Yeah,
है सर.
anyone. Just one thing to remember. Some cases, what happens? No, suppose this is selected. No, and over here I am doing something. So there is no problem. There is no problem if you are editing the UV. Sometimes you are working only with this, and later on you will realize now my model is like this. UVs are fine, but the model is like this. So be very careful. I guess you are getting my point, right? Instead of editing this, you edited the model. It happens sometime. So be very careful in that. Okay. So yes. So this is the way we do unwrapping. Now let's take the same model and let's do another mapping. Imagine this is not correct. Imagine this is absolutely correct now. Perfect this is. But imagine this is not correct. And we need to do mapping. So we are having another kind of mapping and that is called planar mapping. So previously we did automatic mapping. Now I am going to planar mapping. Okay, going to the option box. Here you can tell the projection that you want the projection from the x-axis, from the y-axis, from the z-axis. But I prefer to use camera projection. Okay, camera projection. What will happen if I want to project from the top? Simply, I will go to the top view. It will work. If I want the side projection, I'll just go to the side and will work. Then I don't have to be worried about the axis, x, y, and z. I don't have to analyze it. And if I want a front projection, I'll go to the front and will apply. So camera for each and every axis it will work. That is the reason I keep it in camera mode. Okay, now from the perspective also the camera mode can work. Just check what's happening. Apply. So if I can you see it's looking perfect. There is no problem from this particular camera angle. But now if I rotate it, can you feel some distortion? So distortion is there. Distortion is there. And can you see the UV shell? It's totally wrong. totally wrong. Why it is totally wrong? Because I'll just go back to our previous position. Why it is wrong? Because I'm selecting one UV and manually definitely you can project it. When it is overlapped with other UVs, what's happening? It is becoming violet, and gradually, if the overlapping is too much, it will become red finally. Okay, so suppose this much overlapping is there, and I'm also selecting this, overlapping it more. Can you see maximum overlapping becoming red? Let's do another overlapping. Let's do another overlapping. Let's do another overlapping. Can you see? Gradually, it is becoming red, and in this area, it is almost red. So it will happen like that. And we have to remember to we have to make it blue. So how previously it was no the shading blue. This is the correct color. Sometimes it will be flipped. So intentionally let's flip it. So this is the flip option. Then also it will become uh, tinted red. This is also wrong because the normals are just flipped. Okay, our normals should be in the positive side. So just selecting once again and flip it. It will be correct. Okay, so like this, some issues are there, and that is the reason the last mapping I did, this planar mapping I did. Can you see the color entirely overlapped? So this is wrong. Now you can say maybe it is flipped. So let us check. I'll flip it. Same problem, isn't it? So this is wrong. But in some cases, planar projection is going to work. I feel approximately 50% cases we are going to use this only planar mapping. For I personally use it more than 80%. This is so helpful, but in this case, it is looking like problematic. I'll show you examples later on, definitely. Now, let's take a cylinder, and definitely you can see this is not correct. This is looking fine, but this is not correct. So, what I'm going to do, let's select the UV shell. Okay, select this shell and select the faces. This also can be done by selecting the faces. Also, we can do UV unwrapping. So the faces are selected, going to the UV, and this time we are having cylindrical mapping. Just find out, yeah, this one cylindrical mapping. So just clicking on it and going to the you need to see all of these three options basically. It is looking like this, and going to the attribute editor. And can you see the horizontal projection sweep is 180 degree, but it is a circular object. It has to be 360 degree. So just make it 360 degree. Okay, like this, or in the viewport itself, you can make it like this. Automatically, it will become 360 degree. Now it is fine. Now it is fine. Okay. Now let's check the checker boxes. Still, it is looking stretched. So my job will be to scale it correctly with a projection manipulator only. So I'm just scaling it correctly until unless it is becoming square in shape. All the checker boxes are becoming square in shape. Okay, so this is looking correct to me. You can see now it is looking fine, and this is the seam. This is the seam means definitely seam will be there because it is a cylindrical object. So it is starting from here all the way it is coming over here. So the starting and ending point, the meeting point is the seam. Is called a seam. Okay. So this is the UV unwrapping of a cylinder. This is correct. Suppose this is incorrect in your model you are making. So in that case, what we have to do? Selected these two, going to the top view, going to the top view, UV. Before some time we did planar. I am doing planar projection, and can you see we have got this. Now the color is incorrect because it is overlapped. So this is color. This color is looking fine. This color is looking fine. But what about this? This is looking incorrect and looking like it is flipped. The tinted red color, right? So just flip it. Now both are correct. But just check the scaling in the viewport now. So clicking on the checker box once again, you can see so small. This is so big. So if you will decrease the size of the UVs, the size of the checker boxes will increase. Inversely proportional. So you can see almost correct. Now this one, let's keep it over here. This one, let's keep it over here. This is the positive area. We have to, our model will take the texture from here, from here. Okay. So you can see this is 0, this is 1, positive 1, this is 0, this is positive 1, but this is 0, this is negative 1, this is the 0, this is negative 1. So our texture, our model will take the texture from here. So all the UVs you need to keep inside this positive area. See this area is a little bit highlighted, so it has to be inside this. So this is the unwrapping of a cylinder. Now I'm taking a sphere. It is not necessary. It has to be a cylinder. It has to be a sphere. It can be a cylindrical object. It can be a little bit distorted also, but looking like a cylinder. That also cylindrical mapping you need to do. An object looking like a sphere, but not exactly sphere. Then also we have to do spherical mapping. So going to UV and let's take spherical mapping. So here also sweep has to be 180 and vertical sweep, sorry, 360 and vertical sweep 180, because vertical sweep the degrees should be 180, but this is a problem. Okay, in a sphere this is a problem, and definitely at the very beginning in the primitive also we saw this was the problem. Okay, so we do something in this. I'm selecting this edge. Let's select something at the middle. This edge, okay, and deselect this much, means in between I deselected. Okay, polygon, cut UV edge. Okay, cut UV edge, and then what I need to do, selecting the UVs, polygon, and before some time I showed you unfold, and at the bottom also select like this, polygon and unfold. Here I still can see some problem because this is still connected. So selecting the edge and cut UV edge, So once again, selecting it and unfold. I think you also can understand this should come over here, isn't it? So selecting this, cut UV edge, and selecting these three edges, and before some time we have used move and seal. This is fine, but if you see the UVs, still it is incorrect. Selecting the UVs and at least trying to match some of the areas, some of the areas. So this is a seam. Definitely, you will get the distortion around the seam, but it is better than what we had previously. But as I told, this kind of object distortion will be there. Suppose there is a orange and you are removing the cover of it. Without tearing it, you cannot cover it. Sorry, you cannot unfold it without tearing it. So we have to tear it. So in this case also, the maximum number of cut mark he will give, that much better UVs you are going to get. So suppose here also I'm giving another cut mark. So once again, selecting here, selecting here, and unfold. Gradually, it will become better. See, now this area, individually it is looking better. But yes, so many cut mark. So all these areas, cut mark will be there. Cut mark will be there. Okay. So generally, what we do, four cut mark definitely can be there, but most of the people I have seen to use only two cut marks. Okay, and will compromise a little bit with the distortion, like that. This kind of object. Okay, so it was spherical mapping. So what we have learned automatic mapping, we have learned cylindrical mapping, we have learned planar mapping, we have learned spherical mapping. Now tell me, all of you understood this or not? All of you guys. Okay, Vijay, what about others? Okay, what about others? Okay, Akash, what about others? What about others? Hmm. Nikita, spherical mapping, no? Suppose this is the object. Okay, this is the object. Uh, do you think when suppose this is the orange and you are removing the cover of it. So after removing the cover will look like this. Is it possible? No, right? What we generally get after removing the cover, there can be two circular shape. There can be three, four circular shapes like that, right? So that is what I am trying to do over here. So first select this, go to UV and do spherical mapping. Okay, and from the viewport only you can complete the mapping like this. 1 minute, let me check. Yeah, this one, and this side also you can complete the mapping. Vertical sweep. Okay, so I completed the mapping. So this is the mapping, but over here you can see this is problematic, it is coming out problematic, overlap problematic. Okay, so we have to do something. What I'm doing, let's select the middle edge like this, the edge like this, and deselecting these. So only those edges are selected at the top and at the bottom, and then I'm just cutting it. Cut UV edges. Okay, now selecting the UVs, and let's unfold it. Unfold, definitely we have to unfold to unwrap. So I'm unfolding it. So it's looking like this. But over here, you can see this edge is still connected. This edge. So just cut it. And once again, unfold it. It is looking a little bit better. So this portion can come over here. So selecting the edge, cut UV edge, and selecting these edges and move and sieve. So this entire patch will come over here. So move and sieve. Okay, this is looking fine. Now over here, the same thing. This one, cut UV edge. So move and sieve. But over here, I guess this will come. This will come over here. And move and sieve. Unfold and unfold. So now it is looking better. Okay, but the scaling is not correct. So for that, you can see this is a rectangular in shape. So I want the shape square, something like this. Okay, so now this is looking much better than what we had previously, like this. Through spherical mapping, we can get. You also can make it exactly circular. That is also fine. You know, I always tell you to create a sphere out of a cube. I guess you have seen me saying the same thing so many times. In that, what is the benefit? Let's check what is the benefit. I'm selecting this cube and let's smooth it. Smooth it once again. So it's looking like this, right? Selecting the UVs and unfold. Sorry, little by little we need to do. So see, it depends how much you are selecting. Previously, I was selecting, it was coming a little bit bigger. So this has to be the UV of this sphere. This is a sphere now. This is much better. Just check the UVs. Can you see the alignment of the checker boxes? It is looking much better. And this is the reason I always tell to use a cube to create a sphere. In the production, it is going to help you a lot. Understood? So better UV alignment than what we did through spherical mapping. This is really much better. You can see how clean it is looking and how clean the checker boxes are looking. The thing is, how clean the checker boxes are, that much clean your texture will become. Okay, and that is the reason I'm working with the checker boxes, because if once the checker boxes are correct, your texture also will look correct. Okay.
So,
Yes, Sagar.
सर अपने सिलेंडर में अनरैप किया था तो अपने मतलब स्केल करने के लिए वो स्क्वायर स्क्वायर साइज को लाने के लिए आपने मतलब पूरा शेल को स्केल किया था कि सिर्फ पर्टिकुलर दो?
No, no. When you are scaling, no, you should scale the entire shell. Then there will be no mistake.
किस?
Hmm? Yes. So, so now, I guess now it is becoming clear to you, right? Why we will do UV unwrapping, why it is so necessary, and how to deal with it. I guess you are getting the point now. It is very simple. Once the concept is clear, it is very simple. But if the concept is not clear, then for the lifetime there will be a confusion. Okay, so just clear it right now. Okay, in 2 3 lectures, just clear your concept. Okay, I'll give you more examples. You'll understand it better.
सर स्पीयर
Yes, Sagar.
सर स्पीयर में अनफोल्डिंग वाला पार्ट आप कैसे बता सकते हैं?
Unfold part.
जिस मतलब सर टॉप एज को आपने सिलेक्ट करके उसको अनफोल्ड किया था ना?
1 minute. See, just try to understand why this unfolding even is necessary. Because previously it was a cube. That time straight UVs were fine, but now it is a spherical shape. No, it is a spherical shape. So if I select the faces this much, if I am selecting the faces this much, then what's happening? Over here it is square, but over here it is looking circular. That's the problem. So if I select the UVs and if I unfold it, so it is trying to take the shape of this area. That is the job of unfold. Remember this. Okay? Or if the UV is overlapped, understood? Then also unfold is going to help. So that is the job of unfold. It will try to take the shape of this particular area. And definitely that is our goal. How the object is from the beginning, I'm telling the same. How the object is, the UV also should look the same. So if this is the object. Now another thing I should show you. Let's go to display polygon, and we are having, all of you need to do this. You need to go to texture border edges. Okay, texture border edges and edge width. Now it is 2. Let's make it a little more so that you can see what's happening. So what's happening? The border edge is visible. The entire border edge is visible. Now in the model, these are called seams. So I have given cut mark in these areas. Understood? And where it is not thick, that is connected with the main surface. Okay, so later on you need to decide like where the seams will be and where I should not keep any seam. We need to decide that. And later on, definitely, gradually, when you will learn how to visualize it, you will be able to visualize your seams also. So this is the job. So this area also should look like this. So similarly, this area unfold, So looking like this area only. Similarly, this area unfold. Sorry. So looking like this. Okay. Now in between, let's say from here to there, from here to there. Okay. I'm just cutting it. It has become darker, but very well you can understand. So this edge we don't want, this seam we don't want because it is at the middle. We don't want the seam, and it is not even necessary to keep it over here. So what we are going to do? Select all the edges and move and sieve. So now there is no seam. Tell me, you are understanding the point, all of you? Okay, so far, any other questions are there? Just let me know. Any of you, any other questions? Because this is very important. Those who are thinking of making your career in modeling texturing, you have to learn this very well. Tell me, what about others? You understood this or not? Okay, fine. Now let's move forward. Guys, another concept to understand. So this is the object, this is the sphere I have created, suppose. Going to the hypershade, and let's take a Lambert, and let's assign the Lambert. Let's take a grid. Let's connect it with the color. And going to the placement node of the grid, and let's increase the repetition, maybe 8 by 8. You see, the grid is looking fine. Somewhere the seam is visible, like over here. The seam is visible. It's not properly connected. Okay, that's all right. But otherwise, so all these areas you can see very nicely aligned. But if the UVs are incorrect, suppose this area, I'm just trying to distort it. What will happen? Just check. Can you see? I'm distorting it, so that texture is also distorted, and that is the reason UV unwrapping is necessary. If the UVs are correct, then our textures also will come correct. If UVs are incorrect, the textures also will be incorrect. Okay, this is to show the texture image in the UV editor. All right. Now, Let's make it very simplified. I'll not make it complicated. Let's make it simplified. Let's take offset edge loop. Okay, and then some modern style table. Okay, so let's go to Hypershade and creating the same Lambert. Just check what's happening. This scaling is fine. Check with this. Check with this. These are all problematic, isn't it? Looking very problematic. Why so? Why so? Because
Extrusion.
yes, I have extruded it, and the UVs are looking like this. Just tell me, this table, after cutting it, after unwrapping it, can it be like this? What do you think? Can it be like that? This table can be like that? No, right? Okay, all of you just imagine one thing. Nowadays we are ordering things in Amazon, and for each order we are getting that cartoon box. Okay, each time we get that box. Suppose I tell you to unfold that box and create a flat plane out of it. So what you are going to do? You will cut the edges and you will flatten it, isn't it? So after cutting the edges and after flattening it, you need to imagine how it is going to look. Okay, those who are interested, just do it at your home. Any box, take any box, cartoon box, paper box, cardboard box, and cut the edges and try to make it a flat plane and check how it is looking after cutting. So the box is converted into a flat plane, how it is looking. And your UVs should look exactly the same in 3D. How in reality you are getting in 3D, your UVs should look exactly the same. So all of you can do this at your home. Okay, take a box, cut the corners and try to flatten it. All right. So this table is not looking like this. Okay, guys, just give me 2 minutes. I will uh, connect the charger. All right. So in this case, what kind of mapping should I use? We are having approximately, I can see 80 polygons, 80 faces I am having. So what kind of mapping should I use in this case? Can anybody tell what kind of mapping should I use? Options are the same. Just before some time we did automatic mapping, cylindrical mapping, planar mapping, and spherical mapping. So what kind of mapping you are thinking I should use? Okay, planar mapping. Anything else, guys? Any other opinion? Okay, let's check. This kind of object, this is a little bit complicated one than the previous, right? Because I can see it is having three parts: first part, second part, and third part. And if I take the manufacturing of it, definitely this is different wooden plank, this is different, and this is different. So there are three parts, and accordingly, in my UV structure also there will be three UV shells, three separate UV shells. According to the physical manufacturing, we need to decide our UV shells. Okay, so this is we need to learn. So what I'm going to do, let's go to UV, and okay, that tool is not there in 2017. There is a tool called 3D cut tool. Okay, in 2019 that tool is there. But anyway, I'm going to use something else. Just try to understand the concept.
So
Insulating.
can you, sir, show that 2019 version, sir?
No, in this actually 2019 is not there. In 2019, go to UVs, and second last tool will be 3D cut tool. Okay, second last tool. But anyway, I will show you the concept, so there will be no problem. It's not necessary to use the same tool. Okay, so the edges are selected, and now I'm going to polygons. And before some time, I was using cut UV edges. So I have used cut UV edges. Going to display polygons and texture border edges. I guess you can remember before some time I was doing this. Okay, so I have given a cut mark in this area. Similarly, okay, it is also having a cut mark in this area. All right, now the job will be select the faces, UV, UV shell, okay, keeping it as aside. Oh, some part is still showing connected. Or another thing can be done. Just select these faces, UV, planner, doesn't matter where it is. So keeping it aside, select the faces, UVs, planner, just keeping it aside. And this is the top part. So the basic idea is the UV shell. Selecting this is separate, and this is separate. Now, which way you are doing it doesn't matter. The goal is to separate it. So in 2019, if you are using How I selected the edges by 3D cut tool, selecting the edges, you can do this. Now, this is not the unwrapping. The main job will start now. In the top faces, okay, I drag selected everything, going to the side view or the front view, and deselecting the side faces. Only selected the top and the bottom. Okay. Now let's check. It's not correct. Can you see? Okay. So going to the top view, what can I do? I'm sure you are also thinking the same. Planar mapping, isn't it? Planar mapping. And in this, I need to do something, that is the scaling is not correct. So just make the scaling correct. Now the scaling is correct. So for top and bottom, at the same time I did. And definitely top and bottom will be the other UV shell. So this is flipped because I projected from the top. So this is definitely flipped. So just flip it. Sorry. Yes, just flip it. Now both are coming blue. It is all right. Now what about the sides? What about the sides? So what I can do? The sides are selected, going to UV and automatic mapping. Still not looking correct. Okay, here just scaling it and making the checker boxes correct. Here it is all right. What about this? Now check, all the sides are looking fine. Okay, select all, coming over here, and can you see the scaling is also correct? Good. Select over here the side edge. I'm selecting this edge. Okay, this edge. Polygon, move and see. Now selecting this edge. Polygon, move and see. Now selecting this edge. Move and see. The scaling is a little bit problematic, right? So what I'm going to do, select the UV shell. So much of manual work is needed in this UV unmapping, and I'm just rotating it. So can you see the symbols? Rotation, right rotation and left rotation, and yes, the scaling is a little bigger. So let's make it smaller a little bit. So from here to there, that's the scaling. Selecting the edges, move and sieve, correct. Selecting the edges, move and sieve. This is all right, and you can see there is no seam this side also, this side also, this side also, and this side also. Only the seam is at the bottom. So at the bottom also, what I'm going to do, selecting all the edges, and you can see this can be connected over here and move and sieve. So now the entire top became one UV shell. Can you see? I removed the seam over here also. So the entire top is correct. Similarly, so the top is correct. Select the shell, keep it aside. Same thing need to do with this. When it is done, same thing need to do with this. Okay, let's do one of these. So this is selected. Uh, Definitely, very few faces, so we can do automatic mapping. Planar mapping also we can do. But let's do automatic mapping because very few. Let's do the correct scaling. So check it, looking fine, but in this side it is not. It has to be square. The checker boxes should look square in shape. Okay, so entirely it is looking square now. All right, but one mismatch you can see. These checker boxes are bigger than this, so not a problem. Selecting the faces, but before doing anything, let us do one thing. Selecting the edges, move and sieve. Selecting these edges. Sorry, not don't select this one. Then what's happening? Just check. Just trying to connect with this. This is wrong, right? So selecting this one. We need to select the side, and this will be connected. Let's see. Oh, scaling is different. Okay, not a problem. Like the previous one, selecting the shell, rotate it, keeping it over here. Scaling is almost fine. It is looking like it is fine. Right? We can see it's looking fine. Move and sieve. Yes, it's fine. Right. This is the UV shell. This is the bottom. So yeah, it has to look like this. See. So through this text also you can understand like if any distortion is there. So this is also fine. Similarly, let's do it. Let's complete this. Okay. But what I was talking about this. Okay. The checker boxes are very smaller. So just reduce the size over here and try to match it. Try to match the size. Yeah. So it should look like this. Okay. Now what about this one?
Sir, one seam is visible.
No, definitely one seam will be visible. This one. Just tell me one thing. I was talking about that Amazon box. Until unless you were cutting the edges, how come you will make it flatten? You have to cut it, isn't it? So wherever you have given the cut, the seam will be there. We need to design the seam, but seam will be there definitely. So where do you UV once again? Automatic and okay, looking fine. Now here also. All right. Move and seal. Move and seal. Move and seal. Sorry. Move and seal. Okay, and similarly selecting the UVs and okay. Now what? Select all and click on this. This is called layout. Previous after before some time I told you. So this is the layout. Just click on it. So all the seams, all the UV shells will be accumulated in this positive area. Still, these are separate basically. Scale it down a little bit so that it's not touching the edge. So this is the UV alignment of this particular table. Now you create any texture, there will be no problem. You give the wooden texture, you give whatever, there will be no problem. This is all right now. All of you understood this, guys? What about others? Hmm. This is easy actually. If the concept is clear, this is easy. So now,
सर
yes, Akash. Sorry, Sagar.
सर आपने एक्जिस को कनेक्ट किया वो थोड़ा मतलब आपने फास्ट फॉरवर्ड में किया ना तो मैं समझा नहीं आपने डिफरेंट डिफरेंट पार्ट्स को कनेक्ट किया तो
Hmm.
साइड के पार्ट्स को
See, you can see so many seams are there, no, all around. All around these are seams. I don't want all the seams. So what I want, I'm selecting this edge. Where the seam is, you need to select that edge. So I want to select. This is the inside seam. So according to my design, inside this seam can be there, but outside the seam should not be visible. So I'm selecting this seam, polygon, and move and sieve. It is connected. Now coming over here, so this seam should not be visible. Polygon, move and sieve, and either this one or this one I also can connect. So let's keep that one and remove this one. So just selecting this and move and sieve. So all these are connected. Now here also I can see so many seams. So inside one I will just keep it, but the outside one, let's connect it. So polygon, move and sieve. So this sieve also has gone. So it's done. Now I did the scaling.
सर आई तो
Target
सर मैंने
understood?
सोचा सर मुझे लगा आपने दो एजेस को सिलेक्ट किया और मूव एंड स्वीप किया
No, that also can be done. Actually, I also do the same, but in front of you, I am not selecting everything and saving it. Then you will be more confused. Okay, but that is also one option that also can be done. You can select multiple scenes and together you can save it. I can visualize that, like which which part will go where. But now at the initial stage, it's difficult. Will be difficult for you to visualize which part to will go where. So you do one by one. How I did. Okay, you can select two edges also. You can select multiple edges also to save it. That is also fine. Okay, so far, any other doubts? So far, any other doubts? No, right? Hmm. So then what I did, I selected everything and clicked over here. Everything came inside the positive area. Then just scale it down a little bit. So my UVs are ready. So now this is the time. This is the time I can go to the appreciate. Just check. See how beautiful it is coming. There is no problem. But without unwrapping, you put a texture like this, there will be problems. So many errors. Okay, so over here, now the texturing will start. After unwrapping, the texturing will start. So always after unwrapping, make sure go to edit, delete by type history because I have created so many history you can see for this particular model. This much of input history I have created for this model. So edit, delete by type history. Now the model is clean, right? So assign this out color to color.
सर यूवी पार्ट्स में हम लोग स्केलिंग करते हैं तो उसमें कोई वैल्यू दे सकते हैं क्या, मतलब सेम वैल्यू सबको?
That is called texel density. Okay, texel density. In 2019, you can do this. You can do that, but in 2017, I don't know any option. But in 2019, you can do that. I'll show you later on
सर
from where you can do
वन रिक्वेस्ट वाज देयर।
that. Yes.
सर आपके पास 2019 वर्जन है क्या?
I am having.
तो सर आप क्या नेक्स्ट टाइम 2019 में शो करेंगे, क्योंकि सर प्रैक्टिस
Can
2019
be
में
done.
करेंगे।
Can be done. No,
थैंक यू।
the thing is why I am not using 2019. Uh, in 2017, some portion you need to do manual work. In 2019, automatically it will do. So your concept will not be clear. Are you getting my point?
जी सर, ओके ओके।
Your concept will not be clear. Uh, my first goal is to clear your concept, and then gradually we'll learn the advanced level, some automatic things. Anytime we can learn those. But if the base is weak, no, then it is gone. That is the reason I always prefer to use a little bit lower version so that your concept will be clear. And that is the reason I'm still using my software. I could have gone to Arnold and you would have learned, refraction, reflection, everything till now. But no, that's not the way. First, learn the basics. Anyway, so wherever necessary, I'm just giving you informations that this kind of tool is there. So later on, we are going to use that.
तो सर वो आप एक बार बता देते तो।
Sorry.
हेलो सर, वो टूल आप बता देते तो उसमें 2019 में यूज कैसे करने का?
No, no. That tool, just go to UV, second last tool, 3D cut tool. Over here, what I'm doing, I'm selecting the edges and then going to UVs, and I'm just showing you the uh, thing I'm trying to do. I'm selecting the edges and sorry, hmm, and then I'm going to polygons, and then I'm doing UV, sorry, cut UV edge. Okay, so this much. So I have given the cut. Over there, what will happen? The same thing will happen. You just take the tool, and by selecting only, it will cut. Over here, I need to give the command. Over there, you don't have to give the command. Only this much is the difference. Okay, over here we are doing it manually. Over there, automatically it will cut. Select cut. Automatically it will cut. Over here, I need to give the command of cut UV edges. That's the only difference. Okay, now selecting this and fit to group box. I guess you people can remember. Then going to the wood once again. Okay, edge. You need to, um, check the seeds. Seeds in the sense the style of it, how it is looking, and in each number it will look different. And going to the noise attribute now, and let's increase the amplitude a little bit. Y amplitude also. Okay. If you want, you can create some ripples. Every case, it's not necessary. And in 3D placement, one thing, I don't want it like this, but straight. Okay. So let's rotate it. Maybe over here 90. I just check. It's coming fine. It's coming fine. But this is not looking very good. Okay. So no, in this case, it can be zero because I thought it is only the legs, but the entire plank is there, so the manufacturing can be like this. Can be like this. So I'm keeping it like this only. Okay. Once again selecting this, go to wood, changing the color a little bit. All right. Now this color, making it a little bit lighter. I don't want that much variation. It's fine. And this one, I'm making it a little bit darker. And now you can see it's looking like wood. The variation should be very less. Okay, all right, and fine. I used Lambert for this. Instead of Lambert, let's convert it into a blend. Now it's a blend, so reflection is there. You can see reflection is not there. Why? Because in our render setting, we have to click on ray tracing, if you can remember, right? Reflection and refraction. Refraction is not needed, in fact, in this scene. Refraction is not there. The reflection, I'm making it 6, close, and let's render it. Okay. I can see a little bit of reflection Going to blend, sorry, going to blend, and let's make the specular color a little bit more, reflectivity a little bit more, and now you can see the reflection. Okay, so this is the way. So if you are not unwrapping this object, you will not get uh, the pattern of this wood texture very nicely. There will be problem, distortion, mismatch. Okay, so those kind of things you will get. But if your checker boxes are evenly distributed, properly done, there is no overlapping, then the texture map also will not be distorted. What you want, you will get it. So in this, oh sorry. Okay, so I'm just showing you for the reflection. We are getting the reflection, and in this, by default, it is unwrapped. No, this object is unwrapped by default. But can you see what kind of pattern we are getting over here? In this, it is not looking very convincing. Let's go close. You will understand. Can you see the scaling distortion over here? But on the table, everything is fine. Distortion is not there. Some ripples intentionally we have given, but in texture there is no distortion. But over here, the distortion is there. Though it is a primitive, basic primitive, but there's then also that distortion is there. Okay, so few things are there like that. Gradually, you will understand the concept. I'm sure today uh, a big part of the concept is clear inside your mind, and gradually we'll learn more. Okay, so tell me, guys, all of you understood what we have learned today, and why it is important to do UV unwrapping? That is the most important part in our today's lecture. Why UV unwrapping is important? Most important part. Okay, now a huge, tremendous job is waiting for you. The entire village scene you need to unwrap. I'll show you so many examples of unwrapping. So many examples. Each day I will show you 4 or 5 examples. Okay, and you will learn to unwrap everything. That is my goal. You will be able to unwrap anything and everything. Okay, that you need to learn. Okay, guys. So before doing anything, let's take the attendance. After that, we'll discuss.